Mommies and Poppies, is Yawnie, your DJ and dance junkie with today's dose of the dime. It looks like we're having a little bit of visual problems. There we go. Here I am. Happy to see you guys. Thank you for joining me right here on the Batchelor News Radio Network. I am thrilled to get to the bottom of all of this stuff that we have been looking at in the media. But before we do that, wanted to remind you who I was. I am actually a licensed, a certified life coach. I'm also a licensed master of social work. I do practice therapy and counseling, and I also have a thriving life coach business where we talk about love, relationships, and how to get what it is that we want, which is ultimately peace, right? So definitely I want you to reach out to me and check me out on all my forms of social media. You can reach me on Facebook, to Instagram. You can reach me on Twitter. You can reach me on TikTok. You can also reach me on YouTube. Definitely check me out. I also have my own website, www.thebatchelornews.airtime.pro, where you can look at blogs, or you can look at podcasts, or listen to podcasts. I don't know if you can definitely look at it. But anyway, I also have merchandise on there if you guys are interested in purchasing some interesting gear. So with that being said, let's move on. I do have a Facebook group. It is a public group that we actually kind of talk about different things, and they're mostly relationship stuff and how we're differing nowadays than we used to before. Basically, and it's called A Dose of the Dime radio show. And what it is, I just want to get out there and see where everybody's mind is at. And we have a lot of people that kind of participate in the questions. So I hope you, if you're listening to me here, you jump in there and get active and let me know what you think. So definitely it's a public group and can be found on Facebook, and I hope to see you there. If you are watching me live, feel free to send questions, comments, concerns in the chat. I'm always here for that. But basically, the purpose of this radio show is to kind of learn about ourselves, to learn about, our relationships, to ask questions, and to basically learn how to heal, to shift, and to vibe. Because at the end of the day, that is the goal, is to heal, to shift, and to vibe. So healing ourselves so that we can be better in our relationships, better at work, better with our partners, better period, to shift so that we can move from what we were doing to what we need to be doing, and then vibe, because once we get to that space, that's where the peace is located. And that's the goal, right? Just to get to a space where there's peace, right? So anyway, some of the hot topics, there wasn't as many hot topics this week because of the landmine we stepped on April 3rd. First of all, that's my daughter's birthday, so it was a whole thing. Shenanigans ensued. But nonetheless, there was an OnlyFans/Instagram model. Her name is Courtney Taylor. And she brutally and senselessly attacked and stabbed her boyfriend to death. Her boyfriend was Christian Obunseli. I think some people call him Toby. His middle name is very African and long, and I'm not going to disrespect him and his family by mispronouncing that. But again, she has thousands of followers on social media, and basically her whole venue has always been, I'm going to marry a rich Black man. And she has been dating for Christian Obunseli for about 2 years. And so here's the thing: on April 3rd, unfortunately, police were called to her Miami townhouse, where they found her boyfriend stabbed to death. And she was questioned and detained, but then later sent to a mental institution, which, okay, I can understand if you felt like something was seriously wrong, but then she was released from the mental institution saying that she was fine. They gave her a psychiatric evaluation and she turned out fine. So here's the problem. She has not been charged. The original claim is that she did this out of self-defense, which, I mean, okay. But there's apparently, according to the lawyers, Toby's version of events, which is, Courtney Taylor, her version of events do not match what everyone else is saying, and they're inconsistent for the evidence, the physical evidence that is there. So she is not even to back up her self-defense claims. Now, please understand, I am a proponent for survivors. Domestic violence is my thing, and I would never, ever say that a woman is lying when it comes to domestic violence, because that's something serious. I would never hope in a million years that someone would lie and say, I've been abused, and they're not. But however, this woman is using this domestic violence claim against her boyfriend. And from what I'm understanding and what I'm reading, basically is that her friends and his friends are saying that normally when they get into altercation, she is the aggressor. So with that being said, he's not getting justice. But here's the other situation. She has not been charged in the death. She's actually, a couple of days later, was seen gallivanting. Well, not necessarily gallivanting, but she was meeting her father in a hotel where they were having drinks. And there was some women in a lobby that says, no, you should not be here. You should be charged. You should be in jail. You just killed your boyfriend. And literally, that's what happened. And a lot of people came to her aid, like, oh, you guys are being insensitive. This man lost his life. So here's the caveat. May his soul rest in peace. Christian Toby Umusele, he actually was very active on Twitter in the sense that he would bash Black women. A couple of tweets said he said Black women are born knowing how to shake their ASSs. And honestly, they are not my type. These are his tweets. Once again, I'm tired of these Black girls in my government class. Another tweet he had. The way Black girls disrespect themselves on TV. Another tweet he had. Talked about wanting mixed babies. Again, another tweet. Yellow bone girls can pull off nose rings. So anyway, with all of this being said, do I feel like this guy deserved? Absolutely not. No one deserves to be killed. He doesn't deserve anywhere near that. Your preference is your preference. We just wish you would keep our names out your mouth. Let's not bully and beat up on Black women. But however, this brother did not deserve to be unalived by this lady and her continue her life like nothing happened. So here's the thing. As Black women, do we jump? Because that's what we're used to doing. We're used to jumping into this and making sure that there's justice for this brother who deserves justice. He deserves justice. But a lot of Black women, from the tweets and the Twitters and the TikToks that I've been looking at, and even Facebook posts, are saying that they're going to take a backseat and let Black men step in, and maybe women that look like Courtney, to step in and advocate for this justice. Which, I mean, his brother, Christian's brother, is stepping up on Busele. He is stepping up and asking, requesting that there be a formal investigation, because right now this woman is running around free and this man is in the morgue. He's somebody's brother. He's somebody's son. This is real. So that being said, what do you think, as a Black woman or even as a Black man, we should move forward in this situation? Because obviously this is a very public case and the eyes of the public are on it and no one is doing anything. So definitely something to think about, definitely something to address later, and definitely something we need to keep our eye on. I wish the family much love and respect, but yeah, I feel like, to be honest, this is not our fight. This is Black men's fight. You guys should get out there and make sure and demand justice for this man, because it's important. But we'll see what happens, and I'll keep you tuned as I stay tuned to it as well. So another hot topic that actually came up on A Dose of the Dime radio show was about love languages. I had posted this post about acts of service and how the very definition of having acts of service is basically you shouldn't have to ask for it. And that's a definitely interesting way to look at it, because if we're asking for it, when does it stop being an act of service and start being just a request? How is it an act of love? So I wanted to make sure that we went over the love languages and what it is that they are. So love languages basically are how you show love, but they're also how you receive love. So my love language is physical touch. My other love language is also acts of service, which is why I made the post. But definitely The love languages are about how we give and receive love. So when I am giving love, I make sure I touch somebody, especially, well, hopefully there's somebody that they're okay with being touched, but I make sure I touch them. I make sure that if I love them, I'm doing things for them, because I also believe that love is like an action verb. It's not just a noun that you do. This is an action verb. Like my father, when he loved my mother when she came down with breast cancer, he was physically involved with making sure she was comfortable, going to all the doctor's visits. He brought a brand new TV we couldn't even afford just so she could, be closer to the bathroom, because it was a struggle for her to get to and from the bedroom. And she, was dying of cancer. That was an action of love. Wiping her face, making sure she was comfortable, cooking her dinner. These are acts of love. And that's what I saw growing up. So, of course, one of my major love languages is acts of service, doing things for other people. So what does that mean? Okay, so you want to lighten their load. So actions to take if your partner is an acts of service person. Well, let's back up. The reason why love languages are important, so if somebody wanted to get to me, they would use my love languages to get to me. Now, the reason why knowing your partner's love language is important is because if your love language is words of affirmation, and you keep telling your partner how great they are because that's how you express love, and their love language might be receiving gifts, you are telling them how great they are, and they're like, but you haven't gotten me anything, and therefore they don't feel loved. And this is very important. So again, you want to make sure you know your partner's love language, or the person that you're trying to get with, know their love language, because it's important. If you don't, you might end up showing immense amounts of love on your end and them not receiving it because they don't even know that you're doing it. So you want to make sure that you understand their love language. So your words of affirmation, what they are is you want to speak positive things over them. You want to speak life to them. Actions to take, you want to send them an unexpected note, send them a card, shoot them a cute text, telling them how proud you are of them. Things to avoid: if they give you effort, if they do something for you, don't thank them. Avoid that. If you see them doing something and you don't mention it, that's definitely a way to hurt their feelings, for sure. Okay. Physical touch. All right. For real. How they communicate with someone who has physical touch as a love language like me. Nonverbal use of the body, a touch, playing with the hair, anything that's physically touching, just rubbing their back. These things are very important. Hugs, cuddles, kisses, all of these things are cool, okay? Things you want to avoid, of course, this is a no-brainer: physical abuse. No-brainer. Or neglect. One good thing I need you to understand about neglect is that you might think you're punishing someone with physical touch, but you're really teaching them how to live without you. Because if I am neglected, I'm out. Which is what we're going to get into later on when we start talking about attachment styles, because there's certain attachment styles that are going to cut you at the knees if you don't do the things that you're supposed to do with them, right? Receiving gifts, it doesn't have to be huge or expensive. It doesn't have to be. Just loving, thoughtful gifts. You can make something and it still counts as a love language, right? Something to avoid: giving them something because take that, making them feel like they don't, that the gift that you're giving them is just pity. Definitely something to watch out for, right? So when we talk about, you've got 2 more to go, quality time. Quality time when it comes to love languages is more so about definitely spending the time with somebody. And it's not necessarily having to go somewhere, having to do something, having to be somewhere, just being in their presence, being present with them, just being present with them. A lot of people, that's all that they need. They will much rather just sit on a swing with somebody, hold their hand, and that's quality time. Okay. So things that you want to avoid is distractions. So when you're using quality time with the person that you're with, you want to make sure that you limit distractions. Like your phone, don't be on your phone. That's a clear cut way to make somebody feel like you don't care about them if you're on your phone. And that's dating etiquette, which I mean some of us have missed out on. I always say I want a guy that's going to make me, want to put my phone down, which is I'm busy, so that's a hard task. All right, last one is, of course, acts of service. What you want to do for that is basically, we all have chores in the house. Like, I mean, and that was what the discussion was. We all have chores in the house. We all have things that we're supposed to do to make our house work, right? So with that being said, do something extra for your mate. Do something a little bit extra for them, not just your chores, but help them out with something else. That's how you do words of affirmation. You see their car is dirty, wash the car. You see that you want to detail it for them, do that. You want to make dinner for them. These are acts of service. So not just chores, but even like making dinner for somebody, bringing them a bottle of wine, going out and buying them lunch. These are also acts of service as well. Okay. So what to avoid? If you have a partner who has acts of service as their love language, if you don't follow through with the things that you say that you're going to do, you're going to lose them. They're going to feel in love and they're going to feel like you're not trustworthy. So definitely these are some things that you want to make sure that you stay on top of. Do not promise them something and do not deliver. Or don't say that you're going to do something and don't follow through. These are things that's going to shut you down when it comes to a loving relationship. So definitely want to take time to pay the man. I love being here on the Batchelor News Radio Network because we have feature album Friday. And this artist for this week is going to be Motown Philly's Back Again, Boys to Men. Absolutely. So here's what happens. On thebatchelornews.airtime.pro or Friday at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, there is a 30-minute total discography of whichever artist is being shown or showcased for that week, and that's going to be Boys to Men. So we love a Boys to Men. They're coming to Oklahoma, by the way, so make sure you get your tickets for that. I am ready for that one, okay? So definitely, we also want to talk about Whisper Softly, which is the Batchelor News Radio Network's answer to The Quiet Storm. So what it is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday through Friday. It's just mellow music. And they play it till midnight. So if you want to just kind of tone down the tone of the house, go ahead and put it on the thebatchelornews.airtime.pro and allow that just to flow. So with that being said, I'm going to take a real quick break, and I hope you catch me back here on the Batchelor News Radio Network.
Would you like to know where your family came from? Are you planning a reunion? Is your business celebrating an anniversary? Valerie Metzler, archivist historian, can help. With 34 years of experience as an archivist, preserving and making accessible documents and photographs, and as a historian researching genealogies, Valerie Metzler, archivist historian, can bring your history to life and preserve it for your children's grandchildren. For more information, email her, vm@keycon.net. That's vm@keyconn.net, or call 814-932-1740.
Hey, mommies and poppies, it's Yawnie, your DJ and dance junkie with today's dose of the dime. Thank you for tuning back in to hear about these things that we got to talk about. Listen, so I was going through my subjects and I saw one that said, why is it that we end up with the same person but with a different face? Now, I've always kind of lightweight answered this because a lot of us don't take that time to heal in between relationships. So we'll jump out of a relationship, find somebody new, and jump right back in, not knowing that it's almost certainly going to be the same person with a different face. So taking that time to heal your spirit is very important, but knowing what your spirit does and how you work within relationships is also important. This is actually extremely important because this is how you end up saving yourself. Okay. Sometimes we get into these relationships and they end up all the same way. Well, okay, I'm going to say something that y'all may not like. It might be because of you. So there are 4 attachment styles that they have dictated. It's been kind of well researched, and if you look it up and you kind of listen to the examples and the different breakdowns, you'll be able to pinpoint exactly what your attachment style is. Now, how you attach is basically how you deal with love. Now, to be fair, this comes when the representative leaves. So remember, we talked about the representative. When you first get into a relationship, that's the first person you meet is a representative. They are the person that you see on the resume. They are the person that shows up. They are kissing baby, shaking hands. It's the politician before they get hired. It is the perfect person on paper, and they are doing exactly what you like because you told them that you liked it. You are dealing with the representative. But after the representative leaves, because of course, you can't maintain a representative, right? That's normally a 3-month process. And after that, you really get into the thick of a relationship. So when we talk about marriage and stuff, that's why my daddy always said, you'll know within 6 months whether or not you want to marry somebody. And that part has almost always been true. I've almost always been able to say, there's something not quite right about this person. I think we're going to pass and move on. So let's look at some of the things that affect the way that we deal with relationships, specifically our attachment styles, which are huge. Okay. So the first one I want to talk to you about is anxious attachment. These people is what you would call the needy, clingy people. Now, first of all, I am a Cancer, and I've heard that we are needy and clingy, but I will have to say, no, not all of us are. As a matter of fact, as June Cancers are pretty hardcore, we're probably the flip side of that. But definitely, let's listen to some of the things that are listed under anxious attachment. We're talking about being insecure about certain things. Of course, everybody's insecure about something, but we're talking about high anxiety. Now, high anxiety, what does that feel like? It feels like a panic almost. They have a definite fear of abandonment, like, I don't want to, please don't leave me. I love you. Don't go nowhere, please. And okay, so when we talk about them, they fear being alone. They're in chronic survival mode. So what does that mean? They're always struggling. And I don't mean monetarily, I mean with life. So they are obsessed with relationships. They want to be in one. They have to be in one. They get out of one. They jump right back into one. These are people that are really focused on being in a relationship, and they are normally codependent on the person that they're with. So, which also means they have weak boundaries. And of course, they are going to consistently need some reassurance. So what does that look like? So let's take Jeff and Clarissa. So Clarissa is an anxious attachment. So Clarissa texts Jeff daily, all day, and he has a kind of job where he can text back. Okay, so Clarissa sends a text and he sends a text back, and then he goes offline for about 30 minutes. So now Clarissa's like, well, what's going on? Well, then she starts checking his Facebook. Well, the Facebook's active. Well, then she checks his Snapchat. Well, the Snapchat's active. Now, in Clarissa's mind, is he seeing somebody else? Is he talking to somebody else? Why isn't he responding to me? He left me opened and he hasn't answered back. And then her mind goes into a spiral as to what could be going on. He's talking to some other girl. He is cheating on me. He doesn't love me anymore. He doesn't like me, only to get a text later on saying, oh, girl, I'm sorry. My boss had to talk to me, so I had to put the phone away. That's an anxious attachment person because they're not sure what's going on. So they'll make it up in their head as they go along. So definitely something you want to think about. What causes these types of attachment issues is definitely our relationships with our parents. So if you are, or you think you are an anxious attachment person, you do need to do some inner child work. And know that you deserve love. You have to do shadow work. Now, what does that mean? It means dealing with your trauma, being real about your trauma, being real about how it makes you feel, and forgiving the people that caused it. Now, that one's going to be the tricky part. Real talk. Yeah, all or nothing thoughts. We're all the way in it or we're all the way not. Now, there's a different type of attachment for that. Sorry, Mary on Facebook Live is giving me some pumps up. Yes, ma'am. All right, so the next one is dismissive attachment or avoidant attachment. Okay, so it's avoidant. or dismissive. Literally what they say. You are avoiding them or you are dismissive. So they are also very insecure. They also have high anxiety. But they want love. They do want love, and they'll get into relationships. And then it'll get too close, and then they'll shut down. These are the people that'll go ghost. Because it's either too close or it makes them feel a certain way and they're out. But these people won't come back. So let's keep moving. They also we have what we call trauma responses. So when they get triggered, they shut down. They freeze. What does that look like in an adult life? They avoid conflict. They're codependent. They're people pleasing. But they also are flight. That's their main trauma response. They leave. If something gets too uncomfortable, if the love is too scary, if the situation is too close to home, they're out. They're out. So it looks like Renee asked, how do you help someone with an abuse issue after you get into the relationship with them when you really love them? Is it abuse that happened in a prior relationship, or is it abuse that happened with their parents? Because if it's inner child work that they have to do, then it is something that they have to do on their own. They have to come to grips. Now, you can be present for them and be a bended ear, but you can't solve that for them. They have to be willing to invest in that problem and say, this is what happened to me. This is how I feel about it. And because I feel this way about it, these are the things I do. And that's some scary work. It's some scary work to be very real with yourself and say, and this is me talking personally, I have abandonment issues. My father was not the breadwinner. So when my mother died, he went from work from 6 a.m. in the morning to 9 p.m. in the evening. And I was alone all day, all the time. And so I never feel like what I do is enough. And so because of that, when I have things like that, or people tell me good job or they're proud of me, I instantly shut down because I don't want to hear that. And that's my drama. So you have to get into the thick of what it is that you have going on with your trauma. You have to get into what it is that it makes you do and why you do it. So these are things that you have to do. Shadow work is not for the weak. It will make you feel some kind of way. Okay, they have to do the work. Yes, Miss Mary, they have to do the work, 100%. All right, so people with dismissive attachments, again, these are not the people that cling. These are the people that ghost, all right? They have major trust issues. So if you look like you are not doing the right thing, they're out. And this is not quite me, but we'll get to what I am, which is sad. So let's stay with me. These are the people that have put up walls, and you can keep banging and banging and banging at that wall, and they'll keep you at a certain level. So it might be friend level for some people. It might be something else for others. But definitely, these are the avoidant people, and they're ultra independent. What I mean, like their goal is to never, ever need a person in their life. They don't ever want to need a person in their life. So if they do feel like they need you, they're probably going to go. They're probably going to be out of there. So what does that look like? So let's go back to Jeff and Clarissa. So like Clarissa was the unresponsive one, correct? With that being said, Jeff is, let's say he's a dismissive attachment person. So when Clarissa starts doing that needy thing, and I know you cheated, and I know you're out here stepping out on me, he's like, I don't need this. I could do bad by myself. And he'll collectively start packing his stuff up mentally first, and then he'll be out of there. And that's what I mean by it only takes a certain amount for him to go. It only takes a certain amount of drama for a person who is dismissive attachment to roll out. So that for those people, the parents were neglectful, emotionless, unattentive. And so therefore, they don't understand that they also need love. They have to recognize the patterns, recognize the fact that they can't keep a relationship, or that they lose feelings so quickly that, nothing gets to manifest. But the problem is, here's the issue, is that they do love very deeply, but they're scared of it. All right, moving on. The last one. Well, There's one last, but here's the next one. And this is the one that I kind of unfortunately vibe in. And it's the fearful, avoidant, or the disorganized attachment person. 40% of all of us who have attachment issues get our attachment issues from our parents. But a lot of us, a large portion of us, also get attachment issues once we start dating. All right. So if you had a secure attachment, which is the better one to have, and you witnessed drama, trauma, all kinds of toxicness in your first relationship or your first example of a relationship, you're going to model that, or you're going to be wary of that. You're going to be insecure. You're going to be anxious about everything. So going back to this attachment style, the fearful, avoidant attachment style, they're insecure, anxiety's high, and they're indecisive about a relationship. They want to be in a relationship, but they don't. Like I love love. But sometimes a thought of being in a relationship makes me choke. And it's sad, but I'm doing the work. And that's the reason why I put these shows out here, is so that we can collectively do the work, so that we can be better, so that we can love and keep the persons that we love. Love you, love. Yes, ma'am. I understand. Because unfortunately, it's a push and pull. I love you so much. Please go away. You're needy. Thank you. I want to be up under you all day. Now, can you please leave me alone for 2-3 days? Because I can't take it. And unfortunately, it comes from having parents that were also inconsistent. Mary said, me. Listen, it's a lot of us. There's a lot of us that are fearful, avoidant. And we downplay love because we know you have to be absolutely crazy to want to be in love. But the craziness is we want to be in love. Yeah. So we have trouble expressing our feelings. We have trouble even identifying what it is, because we go, it's not love. That's not love. It couldn't be love. Nope, I don't feel that way. Oh, look what they did right there. I'm not in love. That's not real. It's not real. Yeah, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. So we have chronic guilt or shame based on what we've been subjected to in our past, or what we've been subjected to as children, because we want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be loved, but we're afraid we won't be. We're afraid of rejection. We're afraid that people close to us are going to shut us down. And so therefore, we'll shut down first and we'll be out. But we're also the people to be like, oh, I miss them. I love them. I wonder what they're doing. That toxic guy, the meme that we always talk about, the toxic person that waits till you get half of your life together and then they text you, how you doing? I miss you. That's the fearful, avoidant, disorganized person. And yeah, when we're triggered, we can do a little bit of everything. But once being told that we're cold-hearted, or we don't love, or you think you're better than us, we're triggered and we're out. But we might come back. So many feel like we don't care. And I'm saying we collectively, because apparently I have some people that are vibing with this ideology. But many people that feel that they don't care. But unfortunately, it's not that they don't care. We over care, we over feel, we overthink, and we disconnect, because that's how we survived as kids. We were able to see trouble coming, see it in a relationship, and be like, I don't want that. And we disconnect and we're done. And that's a real story. Now, how? It's not just, Mary said, just read Women Who Love Too Much. And for sure that's a good book, but it's not just women. There are a lot of men who disconnect and run, but they don't want to disconnect and run. So definitely the breadcrumbing situation. Now, secure people, of course, have secure relationships. They're secure in themselves. They're trusting. They have healthy views of themselves. So that's the other type of attachment style, which unfortunately, I'm not seeing as much of as I do more therapy and counseling for all this. And yes, Mary May says we all need love. Absolutely. I feel like love is always going to be the answer, but definitely take a moment, guys. And this is just me shooting from the hip. I don't even have notes on this. Please take a minute and look up the attachment styles and figure out which one you have. And for each of them, you need to sit with yourself and figure out why it is that you do these things the way that you do them, because that's how you're going to heal, and healing is the best way to get it done. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you with the affirmation today. Where my affirmations go? I had a good one for today because it's been an interesting, crazy weekend, and we're all vibing, trying to do the best that we can with what we have. Here we go. I am surrounded by people who see my worth. I am surrounded by people who see my worth. And Mary May, that's probably where the men are. We are surrounded by the people that see our worth. I am wishing you love. I am wishing you much success. And I hope that you heal, shift, vibe. And I'll see you hopefully next time, same place, on the Batchelor News Radio Network.